What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. We are going to speculate about the Mythic Plus dungeon pool for Season 3. Season 3, we believe, is coming up in August, maybe mid to late August. I'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. But we're speculating on what the dungeon rotation is going to be. I do have some information on this already. There's some dungeons that are already locked in. But there's some other ones that we can speculate about, and I want to have some fun doing that. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Okay? First and foremost, let me just show you this cinematic really quick, or the end of it anyway. So this is, spoiler alert, this is the end of the campaign in the current season. If you haven't already played through it, I apologize, but it's been like months. So that's on you, okay? Yo, I really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on the video. I gotta get some coffee. Bye. Gallywix is defeated at the end of this season.
Wasn't working for you?
And unfortunately, he gives the Heart of Darkness, or whatever that artifact is, to an ethereal guy. And he thought he was giving it to one of Xal'atath's, like, servants. But this is a different guy that does not work for Xal'atath. And he teleports out of there. And we can see he's got the heart right there. And he's looking at like the portal that leads to his little home world here. So this, has been confirmed, I think, by Ian, that in Season 3 we are heading towards the ethereals. That's where we're going to be going. That's kind of like the home world that we're going to. Okay. And therefore, some of the dungeons in the rotation for Season 3 are going to be themed around ethereals, because if we look at the dungeon rotation for the current season, we have the 4 dungeons that we didn't do in Season 1, which is Rookery, Priory, Dark Flame, Cinderbrew, and then we have these sort of goblin themed or undermine themed dungeons, which is Motherlode, Mechagon, Floodgate, and then Theater of Pain is kind of just like they kind of just threw that in there. It's very, very much not on brand for the season, but Blizzard likes to do things thematically, so that's why they had Mechagon, Motherlode, and Floodgate in there. Now, there's already been a vote for Season 3 and the dungeons that are going to appear in Season 3. There was a vote back in April for everybody to vote on, and the votes were compiled. We are going to be bringing back Arakara, Floodgate, Priory, and Dawnbreaker, okay? So those 4 dungeons are guaranteed to be in the pool. Those are the first four out of what I'm assuming is going to be an 8 pool. That's usually what it is now. That's the standard for Mythic Plus now, is to have 8 dungeons. So let's just assume they're going to do that. So 4 out of the 8 are already accounted for. Now, they also said that they're going to be introducing another dungeon in Season 3 in this announcement right here. 11.2 is Season 3. You can see, as I mentioned earlier in the video, this is right inside the summer kind of section. It's not really completely close to the end of the summer section, but anyway, I think we know now that this season is likely to launch in August, probably August 12th to like the 20th, something like that. Well, on this banner here, you can see it says new dungeon. So we know that the 5th dungeon is going to be a brand new one, just like Floodgate was. So we have Arakara, Floodgate, Priory, Dawnbreaker, new dungeon, ethereal themed. Now we get to speculate on the last 3 dungeons. And there has already been quite a bit of speculation on this that people have talked about. And there's a bunch of like Reddit articles and stuff, not just the one that I'm showing you right now. There's actually been several other ones, but I will just show you this one really quickly. Well, everybody's basically assuming that Seat of the Triumvirate is going to be one of the picks, and Tazavesh, because Gallywix was there apparently. Apparently Gallywix was in Tazavesh, so that was something that people are throwing around as well. So if you look at Seat of the Triumvirate, this is hilarious because nobody even knows what this dungeon is because it was never done by anybody. It's a Legion dungeon, and it definitely has ethereal leanings, right? Look at it. This guy's covered in like ethereal, magic. This guy is an ethereal, literally. So is this guy, and this is a corrupted, like, light spirit that's gone all shadowy. So it actually completely makes sense that this is such an on-brand dungeon for Season 3. I would be shocked if it wasn't included. Also, because it's Seat of the Triumvirate and nobody ran this dungeon at all, it's largely unexplored, which is super cool. The reason that nobody ever ran this dungeon is because it was an Argus. You had to do like an Argus storyline, which is at the end of Legion, right? It's in this top corner here. This was the last story that you did in Legion, and you took the spaceship here and you did a bunch of stuff, and there was the raid over here, I think, right? There was the Argus, the Burning Throne, and then up here was the dungeon. And again, you had to unlock this. It wasn't called Renown back then. It was called, I can't remember what the stupid phrase was, but you had to unlock this dungeon by getting like Renown with these factions, and nobody did it. So anyway, this looks like a shoe-in to me, as sort of an obvious pick for one of the dungeons. So I'm going to say that this is number 6. Okay. So again, the 5th one is the new dungeon. Number 6, I think, is going to be this one. The next option, I think there's some really good speculation around some of this. I actually think that a very good option could be, let me just change this here. Oh, it's raid. I'm like, why isn't this? It could be Karazhan, but Karazhan's already been done several times. So I'm just going to shove this aside and say it's probably not going to be Karazhan. People have speculated that Maw of Souls is going to make its way in. It doesn't necessarily scream to me ethereal. It's kind of off-brand, to be honest. Like, there's some shadowy stuff going on here, but it's more like N'Zoth shadowy stuff going on, not ethereals. People have said that they just, maybe, I think people have said that they just want this dungeon to come back. So it could be Maw of Souls, but I'm kind of, I don't think that that's true. So we'll just have to wait and see. I think that a more likely candidate would actually end up being Tazavesh from Shadowlands. This is very, very likely to end up being the other one. People are talking about having Tazavesh Gambit as being the second one. Again, they talked about Gallywix potentially showing up in this dungeon, but it does also just have some kind of more ethereal leanings to it. If you played through the dungeon, you'll know what I mean. There was some of that going on there as well. So I think that this definitely could be like a candidate. Whether or not they go with Gambit, which is the second half, that's what I'm selecting right now. That's the second half there. Or they go with the first half. I mean, it's up to them. The Menagerie kind of had some interesting kind of ethereal stuff going on there. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It could be. I think this is very likely to be one of the candidates. And for now, I'll just say this is probably the 7th dungeon. For the very, very last dungeon in the pool that could be added, this is the one we can truly speculate about, because the rest of them, I think, are probably spoken for. Tazavesh is the only one that's kind of like on the fringe there. It's probably going to be him, but we're not entirely sure. The very last dungeon, it's sort of, open season. It could be anything. The other side seems like a pretty good candidate because it's very shadowy. You've got the influence of, it seems like sort of a shadowy influence going on there. Again, could be more N'Zoth, less ethereal influence, but there's still something there. The other side has also never been redone. It's important to think about dungeons that have not already been included in a season 4 reboot. And I think the other side obviously fits that pattern. In terms of BFA dungeons, some of these have already been included in previous seasons, like Freehold and Atal Dazar. And now, of course, Motherlode and Mechagon are in there. Waycrest Manor has already been in there. These don't really necessarily have ethereal themes anyway. I think actually the best candidate, in my opinion, is Shrine of the Storm. I think Shrine has a very like shadowy, ethereal kind of leaning going on there. You can see it in, of course, the final boss especially. It is definitely the N'Zoth version of like shadowy influence, but I could see them throwing it in there. Another good reason I think Shrine of the Storm could be chosen is that it was not chosen in any of the previous seasons. So it has never been done in either of the season 4s that were done in the previous expansions. It's never been redone ever. I don't even think there might be time walking Shrine of the Storm. There has been time walking, I think, Shrine of the Storm. But other than that, it's like basically never been done. So this would be a fairly fresh dungeon, I think, for people. It's also very easy to get to, right? You just have to go. You can just go to Tiragard Sound, or I don't know how the Horde get there. The Horde would have some drop-off point here somewhere. There's probably some Horde base that they could go to that they could easily just teleport and then fly there. So I think it's actually it seems fairly likely, in my opinion, that Shrine is actually on the docket for the next dungeon. The Hail Mary very unlikely, but kind of the Hail Mary long shot dungeon that I think could be there is Mana Tombs from the Burning Crusade. It has a very, very obvious ethereal leaning. It's full of ethereals all over the place. They attack you. The problem that I would obviously think about, first of all, is that they'd have to redo the entire dungeon to make it Mythic Plus viable. But they wouldn't have to make a brand new dungeon. They could just redo this one and bring it up to snuff. They'd have to change a bunch of the enemies in there. There's enemies in there that like stab you and silence you for like 8 seconds and like outrageous mechanics like that. But I think that this is actually like, if you wanted like my long shot kind of, you know, the Hail Mary, this could be in there. Mana Tomb seems like something that could work because it's got very ethereal stuff. Again, could be too short. Maybe they'd have to add in some mini bosses. I don't know how they would make it work, but that's my last kind of thing there. So I think, in my opinion, I'm pretty sure that we're going to have Seat of the Triumvirate. This is going to be in there, I would say, for sure. This is like guaranteed. And then I think we're looking at Tazavesh Gambit is like a good next choice. I'm not as convinced about it, but I think it's probably going to make it in there. It's been done before, but it was a really well liked dungeon, and it would be easy for them to just, it's already Mythic Plus ready kind of thing, right? So that's good there. Then I think the last one is going to be Shrine. Those would be my last three. So if you tally them all up, you've got Shrine, Seat of the Triumvirate, and then Tazavesh Gambit, and then you're going to have a brand new dungeon that's going to come in. So that's your fourth one, is that brand new dungeon. And then according to the article that came out, we're going to have the other four. I just lost my little notes there. Here we go. Sorry. We're going to have Dawnbreaker, Arakara, Floodgate, Priory. So that could be a really interesting season. And we do know it's going to be ethereal themed. We know that for sure. We know that's where we're going. So I think it's very likely that some of these other dungeons I've been talking about are going to make it onto the docket. But I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Please let me know. What do you think about these 4 dungeons that were chosen? Are you excited about this? Are you mad? For one, honestly, I didn't really like Dawnbreaker, and I'm going to be a little sad that we have to do that one again. The other 3, I don't mind, actually. I liked Arakara. I don't mind these 2. They're actually great dungeons right now. Dawnbreaker, I'm a little bit miffed about. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about my predictions about the Tazavesh Gambit, the Seat of the Triumvirate, and, of course, the Shrine of the Storms. And then what do you think this new dungeon's going to be? I mean, is it going to be a mega dungeon, a mega ethereal dungeon? I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but either way, I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know. Remember, this is just for fun. We're just predicting. We're all just having a blast, but let me know what you think in those comments down below. Thank you for watching. I love y'all. I will see you in the next one.